What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who classic review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 7th Doctor Sylvester McCoy story, The Curse of Fenric. This is another fairly highly regarded 7th Doctor story. Seems to be highly regarded as the second best 7th Doctor story, obviously behind Remembrance of the Daleks. Now, I have seen this one before. It's one that I have a little bit of memory of. I only watched it a couple of years ago. Now I've got the proper DVD though, so I watched it again, and yeah, I thought I'm going to be reviewing every Doctor Who story eventually. It's going to take a while, but yeah, this was the next one that I went to. So this is The Curse of Fenric by Ian Briggs. When the Doctor and Ace arrive at a secret military base during World War II, they discover that a centuries-old Viking curse is bringing terror to its inhabitants. As hideous vampires rise from the sea and Russian commandos begin to close in, they are confronted not only with a mystery from the distant past, but also a terrifying vision of mankind's future. So a pretty brief kind of plot synopsis on the back of the DVD there, but a pretty exciting one. So basically, we're in World War II, we're at a scientific base sort of thing, and there's creatures from, you know, a Viking curse. A Viking curse has brought these creatures to the Earth. These creatures are called hemivores, I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce it. And they're these weird kind of, they're people basically. Basically, people get dragged into the sea and kind of get turned into these weird blue creatures with it's almost like they've got like moss and mold and stuff on their face. They're very strange, and they've also kind of got like gills, and they're a bit weird. And yeah, and there's also kind of vampire-y people as well, which aren't quite the, you know, they don't have the like big, you know, pussy kind of blue heads. They look more normal. There's these two girls who we see in this story, and they can talk and everything. They just have like really long fingernails, and they look really creepy, and they're really pale. They're kind of the vampires, and the hemivores are the same thing, but they're all blue and all fish looking, and yeah, a bit strange, but yeah, pretty interesting little concept there. So anyway, let's get started with the good stuff. No, we're not getting started with the good stuff. We're getting started with the cast first. Alright, so Sylvester McCoy is the 7th Doctor. Brilliant. What can I say? He's great. He's really, really good in the part, especially by this point. Taking into consideration, this is his second to last story, I believe. So yeah, towards the end of his run here, and yeah, I mean, he's great. He has some pretty funny moments, but in this series, he's definitely a lot more serious than he was in previous series, especially season 24. But yeah, he's great here. Has some great moments all around. And then Sophie Aldred as Ace, probably the shining star of this episode. She just, I mean, this is very much about her, especially in episode 4. She just really comes out here. She's just great. I love Ace in pretty much every story that I've seen her in, but in this one especially, she does such a great job. Sophie Aldred does such a good job with the acting. She gets some really great lines and just some really great moments. So yeah, from the cast, it's all pretty good stuff. Even the guest cast, who I'm not going to go over everyone, but I mean, like Dr. Johnson, played by what's that, Dinsdale Landon, I think that is. He's really, really good. You know, all the other people, pretty much everyone in this story is very good. Alright, so now we're going to get on to the good and the bad, starting off with the good. The way it's shot feels much more modern than normal classic Who. Now, like I said, I've actually seen quite a lot of Sylvester McCoy's era now. There's only 4 episodes that I haven't seen now. So, I mean, in season 26, which is the season this is a part of, is the last season of classic Who, I've seen this, I've seen Survival, and I've seen Battlefield before. Haven't reviewed either of those 2 yet, but I have seen them in the past. I can't remember too much from them, but from what I remember, they were very similar to this, in the fact that just the way they're shot, even the way they're written and that in some ways, but mainly in the way it's shot, it feels a hell of a lot more modern. A lot more like modern Doctor Who, you know, the stuff that we have now, or kind of more towards the lines of, you know, 2005, 2006, you know, the early modern stuff. It feels a hell of a lot like that. Just, I think, I don't know about the budget. I don't know if the budget was really up at all, but I think it's just the fact that, you know, it's 1989 now, or probably 1988-ish when they were recording this, I don't know. You know, cameras are getting better quality, which you can tell. Just the way the cameras move around, there's a lot more on location stuff at this point as well. You know, you don't have that much just in studio stuff, which is cool as well. It just makes everything feel really good. It's a thing that I noticed straight away when watching this story. I thought, this just looks, even if some of the effects may not be great and some of the costumes aren't great, just the feel, the look of this story, it just feels a lot more modern than anything else I've seen in Classic Who. I think that's a thing for season 26 as a whole. But I mean, even if you Remember to the Daleks from season 25, it looks good, but you can still tell it has that feel of classic Doctor Who about it. Whereas this, it does feel newer. So I thought that was quite interesting. Nurse Crane is the same actress who played the Plasmavore in Smith & Jones. This isn't a really thing to, boost up this story, but I just thought it was an interesting thing, so I thought I'd put it down. As soon as I heard Nurse Crane, who was basically the nurse who helps out Dr. Johnson because he can't walk, he's paralysed, he's in a wheelchair all the time. She's his nurse. As soon as I heard her voice, I'm like, I've heard that voice before, and then I thought about it, I'm like, that's the Plasmavore from Smith & Jones, Series 3. I thought of that straight away, and when I saw her, I was like, that is clearly who this is. So yeah, I just thought that was a nice little thing there to see. The Hemivores look pretty good, actually. I think they're not the best looking monster in the world. I think that the good thing about them is, you don't ever see them too close up. And when you do see them, there's always a lot of them. Like when they're attacking the church, which is a great scene. The way they're shot, the way they look, you don't get too close up to them. They also don't talk or anything. They don't look too bad. They don't look great either. If you do get close to them, they do look a bit meh. But altogether though, in the way they're usually shot, they actually look pretty effective. What else we got? Ace fighting the Hemivores, on top of the castle. I thought that was a really cool scene, seeing Ace do some fighting. That whole scene with, the Hemivores trying to get into the church, the Doctor and the what's his name? Oh god, the Vicar, trying to, keep them out. That was a really good scene. And then you have Ace on top of the church, trying to fend them off up there. Really good scene. It's always awesome to see Ace do some badass shit, and she really does that in this one. So yeah, that's a very good thing. Finding out the baby is actually Ace's mum. This was a big thing. Pretty early on, I'm pretty sure in episode 1 actually, we find this baby, this girl has a baby, and we found out that its name is Audrey. At the same time, we find out that Ace's mum's name is Audrey, and she for some reason hates her mum. Now, I'm not sure if earlier in the series we kind of were told more about why she hates her mum. I don't think we were, however, obviously I haven't seen every episode, so maybe we have. But yeah, in this episode especially, she doesn't like her mum. She really hates her mum. And then at the end we find out that this baby doesn't just have her mum's name, it is her mum. I thought that was a really cool twist. She just couldn't take it. She was really pissed off, and yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It really added to her character a lot, gave her something interesting in this episode, which I really appreciate. And then finally, the Doctor making Ace lose her faith in him, I thought was such a good scene. So basically, the Doctor had to, I think, these vampire Hemivore creatures, they attacked you if, I don't know, you didn't have, what was it, if you had faith in something, then they didn't attack you, they kind of got scared away. But if you didn't have faith in something or something like that, they attack something else. And basically there's this ancient Hemivore, which is kind of the big Hemivore, the big one, and it's gonna attack people. No, it's that guy, I can't remember his name, the Russian kind of soldier, Russian leader. He is gonna attack them or whatever, and her faith in the Doctor is, I don't know, keeping him safe or something. I don't know. And then he has to make her lose faith in him, and then then the Russian guy gets attacked by the Hemivore. It's just a really cool scene. I just love the Doctor absolutely saying, oh, she's useless, she couldn't even pass her chemistry A levels or something, and she just gets so pissed off, and she's absolutely crying and hysteric, and it's really, really good acting and just a really great moment. Alright, so there are a couple of bad things I have to say about this episode. Neither of them massively a big problem, but a couple of things that I feel like I do have to address. First of all, what was the point of Ace going down the ladder? So like I said before, the moment where Ace was fighting the Hemivores on top of the church, really great moment, awesome fight scene. But why did she go down the side of the church? I don't really understand. You know, there was a whole build up to her on top of the church. She, you know, gets a ladder out of her bag. She crawls down the ladder, gets attacked by the hemovores, fends them off. That Russian guy comes, and then she goes back up the ladder again. What was she trying to like flank around to make the hemovores in front of the church, you know, to get them away from the church? Was that her idea? Because after she did defeat these two hemovores that were on top, she didn't decide to go down and do that. She just went back up the ladder and back into the church. So I don't really understand what was going on there. Maybe I was missing something. I don't know, but that seemed a bit strange. Also, the ancient hemovore looks a bit silly. Now, I said before that the actual hemovores themselves, I think don't look too bad. I mean, when you look closely, they're not great, but I think from a distance and from how they're usually shot, they look pretty good. The ancient hemovore, however, which is the big one, the kind of the leader, I suppose, I don't think he looks great, and there's a couple of issues behind that. I mean, the kind of makeup and the costume in that is pretty much the same as the other hemovores. However, one, it can talk, and it looks absolutely ridiculous when it talks. It's got really weird eyes. The eyes blink, and it just looks really silly. And also, we get a lot of close-up shots with it, and I think that's the main problem. It does just look really silly. It's got like the weird like fish gills on the side. I think it's the eyes that are the main thing. The eyes blink, and they look really weird. They look so strange. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't have too much time with that thing. I think it was a cool concept, but in execution I think it did look a bit too silly, especially when this story was one of the more serious ones of the series. So the Curse of Fenric, a really good story actually. I definitely did enjoy this one. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Doesn't quite get a 10 from me. It is probably the second best 7th Doctor story behind Remembrance. It is just a really, really good story. The serious nature of it, it can be a bit, I think episodes 1 and 2 could be a bit slow. From episodes 3 onwards I really enjoyed it. Episode 1 especially in some ways. I mean, I know it was build up in that, but it did feel a bit slow to me. I would have liked to kind of get to the hemovores a little sooner. But apart from that, I wasn't really bored throughout this at all. And yeah, I really, really did enjoy it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go and follow me on Twitter, link is in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video.